Then I made a capital. I wanted to get through college. I wanted a profession. My folks were poor. They came from the old country. Never had an opportunity for an education in this country. And it was up to me. And I made good. I found no fault. Never regretted that I had to work hard to get my education. I was pledged. I think my senior year I was pledged to ATO. I was a good football player in high school and good student. And I was pledged to ATO.
Did you win any prizes before you got into Kobe? Before you got into Kobe, they pledged you? Before you went to Kobe, they pledged you?
Yeah, they pledged me before I went to Kobe. They wanted me. And I accepted the pledge. I didn't know nothing about fraternities. This is a nice fraternity. Alpha Tau me. I got my program at home, my name on it.
Did you win any of them?
I won some prizes.
What about in law school?
No speaking contest.
Yes, he did.
But you gave the speech at the graduation of BU Law School.
How about at graduation? Did you make any special speeches yourself?
BU Law School.
I don't remember.
Yes, you were class orator.
At BU Law School.
You were a class orator. You were a class orator.
Oh, yeah. That's right, I was.
You remember his speech? He could probably do the
They put it in the Boston newspaper.
So many things transpired, my memories doesn't recall very good.
He has a birthday next month. He was class orator.
He's only 92 and 11 months now.
Ask him what he thinks
What did he tell?
His connect.
I don't bother about it.
How would he show that?
Then he went into the gun business.
How would he show people what he had?
Look at the basket.
He didn't know much English?
English was, you know. His ware sold itself.
Father come from Europe to America.
But he didn't want to serve the Kaiser.
What? And how did he get out of Russia?
Skipped the country and came to America. Everybody in those days was fleeing away from Russia because they had conscription. Everybody had to serve.
And did they bring a Torah with them, the Jewish scroll?
Brought a Torah, and we have the Torah now in the shul. The first Torah Wannable had, and it's in the shul now.
Did they have any trouble getting it out of the country when they came to the border?
Well, you had to smuggle it in.
And when they arrived in America,
he kept it at home, and we used to have shul meeting every Saturday in different homes before we had a shul. And they moved my father's Torah from one house to another for the services. They had it as the only Torah there was in this vicinity.
when your mother and father arrived in Ellis Island from the boat, did they have anybody to meet them, to vouch for them to be admitted to the United States?
No, they had nobody, but they were already planned to send them back to Europe, where they come from. But my father saw a man with a big beard, looked like a Jew, and he said in Hebrew, in Jewish tongue, "Come to her, David. We will know the chicken to cake zum Käse in Europe. Wir wollen nicht gehen. Ihr geht zum Office und sagt, als mein cousin ist gekommen, und sein Name, ich werde geben meinen Namen, ich werde geben meinen Manns Namen. Mein Manns Name ist Julius, und mein Name ist Rachel, Judy, and so he sucht uns. Well, at that time it's so difficult to come into America that he was glad to do anything to help a foreigner to come in. So he went and told that story, and then that's how my father was able to get into this country.
It was your mother that spoke to this man, and
yeah, my mother
the translation is, she said, please help us get into this country so the Kaiser won't persecute us in Europe by telling the officials that we're your cousin.
The Kaiser was very unpopular in this country, too.
Press it a minute, Robin, I'll tell you something. And how did they happen to come to Waterville, Maine? Had your father's son...
They came to Boston first, and father had no business except to peddle, and it was hard for him to walk up and down the big buildings where the people lived. And so he came and moved to Waterville and peddled a basket in Waterville for a while, and then he was successful enough to buy a horse and team, and he went into the junk business.
Did he have a son, William Levine, in Waterville ahead of him?
Yeah, William Levine came here. Married my father, was married twice. His first wife died, and he married my mother in Europe. And father, what did you say?
Sarah was his sister, not
And
William.
oh yes. And your father's daughter, Sarah, lived with her husband in Waterville, Maine, and that's why they came here from Boston?
They wrote to us. I don't remember when I was born then. I had a sister Eva born ahead of me, and we moved to Waterville.
When you practiced law in Waterville, 1922, you started?
I practiced law until I retired.
When you began, had there ever been any Jewish lawyers in Waterville before?
No, I was the first Jewish lawyer.
And how did the other lawyers receive you?
Well, very well. And I used to help other lawyers. I used to go to court for other lawyers. I used to like trial work, and other lawyers would ask me to go try a case to tomorrow.
Was your father Orthodox, observant of the Jewish religion?
Oh, yeah. Very Orthodox in the old country.
And when he came to this country, when he was peddling with a horse and team, would he still be able to say his afternoon prayers?
First he dealt with small wares with two baskets. Had one basket in front on one shoulder and another basket in the back on the other shoulder, and peddled that way. Then he got a little bit prosperous enough to buy a house and have a team, and he went into the junk business.
When he peddled around in the country, how would he say his afternoon prayers? How would he daven?
He stand up on the footstool in front of his team, and he had a big box where he traded tinware and porcelain, different things, and so at retail prices it cost him wholesale, so he made a double profit for the articles he gave to return for his junk, little wares he had. So he did pretty well here in Maine, better than he could in Boston. That's why they moved here.
Did he continue to daven every afternoon, even if he was out in the country?
Oh yes, yes. He'd stand up on the platform of his team and hold the reins and say his daily prayers in the afternoon, and if he came in late, he'd have to say the Maariv, the second prayer, and he'd get along best he can. He observed his faith.
And did your mother also contribute to making a living by taking in boarders?
They used to come to my home, different men from Augusta and Gardner, used to deal in junk, and they had a horse and team. And my father, we had a stable on Chaplain Street where I lived, and they pay for care, their own care for the night, and also for food for the horse and team. And mother worked, did everything she could to contribute to the support of the family, and that's how they were able to get by. Always worked for themselves.
In the basement, of your house, did they have a mikveh, a ritual bath for the Jewish
mother had a mikveh in our basement, and they'd come. They were more religious then than they seem to be now, and they'd come from Augusta and Gardner and Waterville and surrounding towns, and every month they'd come for the mikveh, and mother used to take care of that, and they used to pay for that, and it helped contribute to support.
Did your mother and father used to go to hear you speak in speaking contests at Colby College?
They'd go to the speaking contest, yes. Oh yes,